What's going on, everyone? My name is Matthew Osborn, and in this video, I'm going to hand you a blueprint for massive entrepreneurial success in your 20s. What's going on, and welcome back to the channel. I promised you at the very beginning of this, I'm going to hand you a blueprint for entrepreneurial success. Let me explain what I'm talking about. So, about 5 years ago, in 2015, I was working a full-time job with the dreams of being self-employed one day and owning my own business. And so one of the things that I did back then was that I wanted to learn from people that were already extremely successful, and more specifically, extremely successful in their 20s. As much as I like hearing stories about entrepreneurs that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that have gotten their way to success, I wanted to figure out how people did it so early on in life. How people like the Collison brothers started Stripe in their early 20s, a payment processing service, and now are each separately worth $3.2, $3.3 billion. I want to know how people jumpstart and do it in their 20s, not when they're 40s, 50s, and 60s, but how they do it so quickly. So with that, I set out in 2015 to go interview entrepreneurs that had done it before, that have been massively successful. I'm talking people that were all in Forbes 30 under 30, people on the Inc.'s 30 under 30, pretty much any 30 under 30 list that's publicly available. I wanted to talk to those people and see how they did it. And so that was the start of the Young and Elite podcast. Now that podcast died about 6 months after I started it, but let me explain why it died. So when I started the podcast, as I said before, I was working a full-time job. I loved my job, but I was dreaming about being self-employed one day and trying to figure out how to get there. Fast forward to today, I'm self-employed. We have multiple software businesses. I sell on Amazon. I help other people sell on Amazon. And me and my family are currently traveling the country in an RV because now I have the freedom to work wherever I have a laptop and internet with me. So the reason why the podcast only lasted 6 months is because I started applying what I was learning, and turns out it actually worked, and I started to focus my time and energy on the different businesses I was starting rather than focusing specifically on the podcast itself. So when I took that podcast offline, the audio had disappeared, and it's been collecting dust in my Google Drive for the past 4.5 years since I took that podcast offline. Recently, I was thinking about it and I said, you know what? A lot of the information that those entrepreneurs shared so freely with me would greatly benefit you guys as well. They greatly benefited me. I'm still using all the advice I got in those interviews as kind of a blueprint to keep moving forward towards what I deem as success in my 20s. So I'm dusting these interviews off. I'm dusting these episodes off. And I'm putting these back out in the open for you guys to see, for you guys to hear. Hopefully the information these entrepreneurs shared so freely with me will benefit you guys as much as it's benefited me. I have about 20 episodes that I recorded for this podcast. I'm going to be posting one episode every single week here on this YouTube channel, and I'm going to start each episode with a little video introduction like this, talking about little behind the scenes things about that guest, and more specifically where that person is now. One of the fascinating things about interviewing people 5 years ago that were already on the Forbes 30 under 30 list is that they've gotten a lot more success since then, and a lot of them have started crazy businesses. Take, for example, Dave Rogenmoser. I interviewed him back in 2015. At the time, he had an online course on how to do Facebook ads, and he had just started an entrepreneur alliance type group where he was helping young entrepreneurs get started. Fast forward to today, he and his business partners went through Y Combinator, an extremely prestigious incubator out in California. They got selected for that out of, I think, it's got a lower acceptance rate than Harvard. Anyways, their business went through that. They started a business called Proof, which is now headquartered in Austin, Texas. They have a lot of employees, and they're doing awesome things with personalization in the online digital marketing world. So be sure to check out that company. But that's just one example of someone that was doing something already pretty great when I interviewed them, and they've taken those skill sets and they've multiplied it into something that they're doing today. So keep on the lookout. I'm going to post these interviews every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for future episodes starting next week. I will see you guys there.